close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go. Through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go. See the horizon, turn us to thousands, and we'll grow in number, fueled by them to see the horizon, turn us to thousands, and on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go. turns to sun rays, and on we'll go through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go. Turn us to thousands, and we'll grow in number, fueled by them to see the horizon. Turn us to thousands, and on we'll go through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays, and on we'll go.
Oh, well, you guys can hear me. You can't see Jason though. I'm not really sure what's going on here, but what's up, guys?
Classic kicker.
Dude, I don't understand. It says you can see it on my other screen. Let's see here.
It's always something with you.
It is always something. It is always something.
There's just no good excuse that I can think of for your incompetence.
You're seeing this on my screen, right? You're seeing this on my screen. Like we can see you.
Yeah.
What exactly is going on right now?
It's a really good question. I'm going to say I don't have any answers.
Goodness gracious. This is really weird. Why can you only see me? Let's try this.
Have you got it blinded or something?
No, it shouldn't be blinded. There's no reason it should be blinded. No, it's not letting me see you for some reason. I hope so.
Okay, so we're back to last week's problem of not being able to see me on chat, so that's good.
Yeah, that's great.
That's okay.
Let's see if... Alright.
You can use my gorgeous picture from last week as well.
I don't...
Whack that in there.
I don't have that picture. I think I
What do you
deleted
mean?
it.
Send it to you. How did you delete it?
I don't know.
And why would you delete it?
I don't know, but...
That's just... I'm offended by that somehow.
I don't know. I don't know, buddy. Alright. Anyways, so... We'll carry on. We'll carry on with just the voice apparently of Jason this week again. But so yeah, so been a little bit. So we're gonna go over some community stuff first, and then we will get into introducing racers. So we've got what do we got here? Drivers, team standings for Delta Online Racing, and that's the wrong logo. So we're off to a great start this week.
That's on you. I did not.
That is
do
on me.
That
That is on me. You are correct.
Just to clarify for everybody that this is not my fault. There you go.
There we go. I got it. Okay.
Okay, you got it. Second time's a charm.
Yeah. So this concluded last
Spectre
week.
with the win.
Yeah.
Well,
Spectre,
what? Yeah.
Yeah, it concluded
cool.
last week. Yeah. Spectre ended up winning.
Okay.
So
That's good.
that's his
Spectre
first.
is the winner.
Yeah. No, that's his first win for community event in terms of a championship. I mean, I know he's fairly new as well to the scene.
Yeah.
You know, I've been doing a lot of. I've seen him in a couple of ORL events, and I've seen him in now.
I've seen him in hopper lobbies.
Like you've seen him in hopper lobbies? Okay, yeah. He's
yeah,
got
like
some
GT
pace to him.
endurance and stuff. Oh yeah, absolutely.
You got
Absolutely.
the pace to him as well, and
So
Spearman
does
as
so
well.
does Spearman. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And Lucky Sod, who's in there as well.
So.
Dunk's up there. He's made his way up to 7th. Good work, Dunk. Not usually up that high, I don't think. And Tactical missed 2 rounds, but still made the top 15. So.
Yep, up there in 11th. Yeah.
That guy.
We always talk. Do we always mention him?
How can you not?
I know, right? But yeah, big congratulations to Spectre as well for winning 6 years of touring cars. Not an easy feat to win a championship. I haven't even won a championship yet, but.
Oh, I'm nodding. I should stop nodding. I should say things like yes.
Yeah, because you're not on screen right now, bud.
Yeah. I forgot. Next one.
Next one, yeah. Teams, Legion GTR takes the win for... Who is that a team of? Lucky Sod, Dose Rocks?
And Spearman.
Spearman, yeah. So,
they did very well there to come through. I think they started quite low early on in the
Did they?
series. Yeah, I don't think they were towards the front.
Yeah, I feel like we didn't talk about
Good
them.
luck to them.
I think it was the team of Bokit and Warwick and someone else.
Tactical,
yeah, that was dominant though. Yeah.
Very early on. Yeah,
Yes.
I think everybody on their team stopped racing halfway through the season for some odd reason. I don't know. Maybe they just didn't have the time to commit. So fair enough.
Yep.
Maybe they wanted to practice for another series. Not sure.
Yeah. But so we got ORL Bentley series is 3 weeks in now, and FTR Ridge has taken a commanding lead in that series as well, with a lot of strong performances from some AMS drivers behind him.
Yep.
Yeah.
All 4 of them.
Yeah. Those guys are
all
quick,
crammed
man.
in there from second to 5th.
Yeah. The unique thing about this series is that, you know, you're allowed to use traction control, and it's quicker in that car to use it. So it's an advantage. So people who aren't used to running traction control like myself are actually like, you know, we don't. I wasn't even interested in running the series because like I was like, you know, I don't run with traction, so I don't really feel like running in a series that uses traction because I'd probably be pretty bad. But
yeah. I just saw that there's something weird with the scores down the bottom of the board there.
Oh,
with people
yeah,
scoring in
it's
round
Spearman.
6. I
Yes,
don't know how that
Spearman.
happened.
Spearman's got different scores in 4, 5, and 6. Yeah, that's kind of weird. That's Jason's work. You can blame him for that.
Yeah, that's totally on me, guys. Good work, Roadkill. Yeah, nice. And then somehow Bullet's got too many rounds as well. I don't know.
Don't ask me. I don't know. But here we go.
Yeah.
Team standings. We got Aerox FTR. Who's on it? I'm assuming Ridge is on that team with someone else. Probably Slothatron, I would assume.
Let me see. I don't see. Oh, yep. Slothatron's in the top 6 there. He's in 6th place.
And then you got
So I'd say it's him.
You got both Alien Motorsport teams up top as well. So
Yeah.
Despite their falling out a few months ago, they still have some fairly quick
Putting
drivers.
on a strong show, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, clearly.
So.
Showing they're not all out. That's cool.
Yeah, which is
always good to see.
Nice to see.
Good community racing.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
What do we got here?
Teams.
Yes.
Oh, no, we did teams.
We just did
Next
teams,
one.
bud.
Yep. Next one.
We've got EU side of Tour Trans Am, broadcasted by YMTV as well. Guys, tune in every Thursday night to check that out.
Do they broadcast the EU one? I don't think they do.
Not the EU one. They broadcast the US one. Pat and Flip Mode do it, which I believe Flip Mode is in the chat. Hello, Flip Mode. Nice to see you, bud. Yeah, so we got Meat Up Top drifting here on EVR Hurricane and Mr. Drive. You know, those guys, I was watching the race on Thursday, and those 4 guys seem to be on a different level than pretty much everyone else in the field.
Yeah, they've got some pretty crazy pace, I'll tell you what. Especially Mead, he's putting together some crazy laps.
Yeah. But, yeah, guys, go check that out, YMTV. On YouTube. We also have the teams from the EU side of things. Only 5 teams still. So we've got EVR Motorsport. I believe that's Mead and Hurricane up top. I mean, that
yeah,
kind
it is.
And we've
I think
got
Grip Tech is Drive and Drifting here and whatnot.
Yeah, so I mean, that's a good team battle, man. I mean, it'd be nice to follow them.
Yeah, it's close. Yeah.
So they're always scoring within each other each round. So be nice to see how that plays out throughout the rest of the season. Alrighty. And then we have the U.S. side of things as well, if I could find it right here. U.S. drivers standings. Meet up top again, no surprise there. We got THR Sparky and THR Chirp Chirp 2 and 5 as well. So nice to see them. And it's close up top with Sparky and Mead.
That it is. There's only 5 points separating them.
Yeah.
But yeah, Mead with the only wins on the board besides actually. Is that Chirp Chirp with the win? No, GG with a win in B lobby, it looks like.
Oh, yeah, but we don't. I mean, yeah, B lobby.
We don't count that.
But that's not a.
We count that. We don't count that though.
Yeah. I don't know why. They do that. I don't know why they count those wins. I'm not really sure.
I mean, they're still wins technically. You still won a race, but
no, I know, but
it doesn't matter.
In terms of like the champions, like you're not getting first place points. You're getting first place points in B lobby, not first place points for like the whole race. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, there should be some sort of like, 2 A wins, 1 B win or something to distinguish it. Maybe I don't know. Anyway, next time I'll highlight them. Yeah, I got a good idea for that.
Okay, good. And then we've got team standings. Grip Tech Performance up top, and THR actually is up top, in second. Not far behind, about 50 points, 40 points.
Another close battle for the top there.
Yeah, so.
SF America still there. If anybody decides to miss a round or something like that, I'm sure they'll be right there for the second spot. So close there as well.
Yeah, so good to see some good tight battles as well. And I still cannot see Jason for some reason. I can see him. I can see you on my left screen. I can. And then on my right screen, I cannot see you, which doesn't make any sense. Oh, there we go.
It like that.
Oh, there we go. Now I got you. I got you now. I just had to change stuff. Can you guys see Jason now? If you guys can see Jason now, let me know in the chat because that's awesome. This is more difficult to work with, but I can work with it. But yeah. So one thing that we definitely want to cover this week. So and there's a link in the description below for you guys to check it out as well. So you guys all saw the Lage box incident last week. And what happened was there was a Forza monthly no, it was a preview show. It was a preview show for London. And what they did was, thank you, Matt Gaming and Alan Walsh. Thanks for letting me know that we can see Jason. What we saw was that they brought out Gfinity Marshall onto the show. And they went over 3 incidents in the London finals that they deemed to show as examples. Okay.
Yeah,
and
that's a good one.
They went over the Zoom box incident where box just dive bombed Zoom. They went over some lightning testing the race marshals on dive bombing virus, and then they went over another incident, but they didn't go over the Lage box one. I don't understand why they didn't because it just seems like they're covering it up. Like they're not admitting to making a mistake, and it's so bothersome that they won't say it.
Yeah,
And
it really does feel that way. Whether or not that's their intention is hard to say, but it really does give that impression that it's a bit of a cover-up job.
And like, I heard that it was like they don't want to, introduce controversy going into London, but they already have it. If it just stated that it was a mistake,
by ignoring the issue, it's only making it more of an issue. Totally.
Yeah, or gave it a reason. It would clarify to us normal people why they didn't do it. So, and there wouldn't be any controversy anymore. But there's still controversy.
I heard through a source, inside source, sort of, that the reason he didn't get penalized was because there was no contact through that section, through that incident.
Yeah, and I don't know if we're even supposed to talk about that, but I mean, yeah, pretty much. And there was a whole description on it. I don't know, but they didn't give him a penalty, so it's quite interesting. Which I don't know. But it was. I hope that. And what I was gonna say, I lost my train. What I was gonna say was, if you guys want to see what we're talking about here in that where the Gfinity Marshal comes on, there's a link in the description below with a timestamp to the video and where you can go into the video to watch it. It's like they bring him on for 4 minutes. They talk about a couple incidents. So go ahead and click on it in the link in the description below after the show's over. Go check it out for yourself. Let us know in the comments below and on Twitter at OffTheTrack. What you guys think should have been a penalty, should have not have been a penalty. We do. We think it should have been a penalty. We think it should have been a 10-second penalty, and Bach should have won the championship. But that's a whole other conversation. That's a whole other conversation.
I've talked about that for too long already. Let's bring on the guest. Yeah,
we will. Someone who might be able to shed some light on this is Veloce Racerz, and he's here with us today. How's it going, man? Great to have you on the show.
Yeah, it's going very good indeed. How are you guys doing?
Splendid,
yeah.
Excellent.
So, you and I were talking before the show, and just briefly, I know you have an opinion on the incident. What's your take on it? And you were in the race, so I mean, what was it like out there as well?
Yeah, well, to be honest, it was the last race of the Mexico playoffs. So I think the thing is there's so much desperation anyway with absolutely everyone that. It is what it is. It was so dirty. It was so unbelievable, and it was weird because I was out in second, just behind Rossi, because my finals weren't so great. And then I just hear it was so funny because I go around a corner and then all of a sudden I just hear everyone in the building would start screaming and it would shake the room. And I was just having to I was just trying to look at my affixes and stuff, and there's suddenly 100 people.
Mildly distracting. Going, yeah.
So that's all I really have on the matter really in terms of my own personal experience from being in the race, but. Aside from that, yeah, it was just messy, to be honest.
Yeah,
extremely.
So did you think? Did you want to say something? I was going to ask you if you thought that they should have determined a penalty, but yeah.
Should it penalty? I mean, without a doubt.
Okay, all right. I don't know how you don't award a penalty to something like that. And I don't know. When literally every person watching, even the racers, even the people who did it, admit that should have been a penalty. Are we watching the same race, Marshals? Come on.
I mean, I'm pretty sure Lage thought that he would have a penalty anyway. Yeah. I remember that was the word. And people, even after it happened, they were all like, there's no way that both Lage and Box will get away with that. They'll both get penalties guaranteed. Yeah. And what do you know? Only one gets a penalty. So
it just seems very awkward the way they've gone around that, and I don't know how they're going to come back from that. It seems pretty what's the word? It's really hurt their credibility for me anyway. I don't know. Do you think that rough racing was the result of such a high stakes? Do you think it's just that, or do you think it's the guys as well?
It's just that. If you look at the races leading up to that, they were okay. They were fine. I mean, it was harsh, a lot of it, but it wasn't as savage as what Box was.
It wasn't just completely cold-blooded murder. Yeah, that's right.
So.
But
yeah, well, interesting viewings, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So one thing we do have to shout out though is Racers did get his first well, not his first LAN event win, but he did get a win in the semifinals. I know that was your highlight, beating Lage of the
easy.
weekend.
Yeah.
Easy. Yeah. But that was awesome. Yeah, he was slowly chipping away at you towards the end there, but you held him off in the final couple corners, and
I think what that was is it just showed my lack of experience, like in reality, of being in that position, because I had the pace and I showed that for the first however many laps
easily,
and then at the end it was just like you could see in my brain I went, haha, I'm outpacing Lage, and then naturally that just drags me back. I'm just like, oh.
Well, what it looked like to me was that on that final lap, maybe lap and a half, you were like, okay, I've got a sizable lead. If I just hit my marks, don't push the car too hard, I'll get the win.
Yeah.
Because it was in the
wet,
wet,
you just try
too.
not to make mistakes.
Yeah.
And that's completely understandable.
Yeah, it was pretty weird though for me because I came into Forza from watching Lightning and Lage battling it out on the Nürburgring. And that was like, I saw that race and I was like, dude, those two are insane. And then I found myself in Mexico behind the two of them, overtaking both of them and then beating them. And that was like, I'm like, okay, where could I be in another year?
They say never meet your heroes, so...
Yeah, exactly.
But
that's good, man. That's yeah.
But so we've got.
What were you gonna say?
I was gonna move on to the next little thing here.
Yeah, I'm prompting you.
Okay, I'm glad. Thanks, buddy. So we've got the group stages. They announced those in the London preview show. If you guys haven't seen it, it's actually that link with the Gfinity. You can watch the whole thing if you really want to. It's really not that entertaining though. Except, although one thing I will point out, the end they had flip mode do they did like he had like a screen and he was doing like analysis of like passes and stuff like that, and I was like, this is so cool because this is like I'm watching like a preview show to like an NFL game, and they're like analyzing the defenses. It's like flip mode is analyzing passing maneuvers and stuff. It was really cool, and top notch job you flip mode. I know you're watching, but that was really cool to watch. But so. They have the group stages announced, and I'll pull those up on screen here, right here. And I'm really proud of myself. I put this together in Photoshop, so, like...
I could have done that in Paint. Like, what do you want?
Yeah, whatever, dude. Shut up. I'm learning how to use Photoshop. Like, okay? Come at me.
Yeah, you're good.
So, so these are the group stages, and I'd like to call the first lobby the lobby of death because that lobby is full of what I think are probably 5 of the 6 strongest drivers in the whole thing. But Racers, you're starting there in 9th. What do you what's your plan of attack here, bud?
Well, I mean, obviously it's never going to be easy in the world finals of Forza, but the thing is that I honestly can see myself finishing quite a lot higher up than that by the end of it, so I still want to try and get into the top 6 because that's all I ever seem to. I always find myself in this position of starting really far down and having to climb, and I've done my homework. I know how to attack the people in front effectively, so it's just a matter of luck at this point. If I get lucky, I reckon I could do it, but it's not going to be easy. Don't write me off. Don't write Commando off because he's quick as well.
He is very fast.
Yeah, we do know Commando's very quick.
Well, I might.
His hot lap skills are pretty OP.
Just
yeah.
There I go.
That'll make for some exciting racing.
Yes.
And, yeah.
Sorry, Commando.
Yeah. The one thing I want to talk about is, will Zoom show us that he deserves to be named #1 in the world? Like, the last 2 LAN events, he has crashed with Roadrunner, and he has crashed getting like sandwiched, and we have not been able to see his pace. He's not been able to recover. I'd like to think that he's obviously quick, obviously, but I'd like to think that he has the pace, and I'd like to see what he can do against the top guys like Box, Mitch, and Lage.
Well, the thing with Zoom, he's a great guy, and everything. But we spoke about this in Mexico, and he's admitted he's in LATAM. Who does he have to race against? He races Wesley, but then Wesley typically will just sit behind him anyway to guarantee second place points.
Right.
And then it's just a fast track way of him getting up to the front. And it's I think that they should merge Latin America and North America together or something like that, because it's just too easy at the moment for him.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And he is very quick, but in fairness, us Europeans and North Americans, we get to practice racing other quick people, whether it be Lightning or Lage. But he literally doesn't ever get to practice that at all until he gets to a LAN. So
I remember having a conversation with Kicker about this earlier in the week, where we were just saying that it just seems like he lacks a bit of the consistency to hang with the top pace guys. He could run the one hot lap, or run that one quick lap, sure, but running it consistently like the way Lage and Lightning do, maybe not so much, because you're not being pushed at that level as much. Yeah.
I think that's also a product of being on a team by yourself. He's on Sauber now. I mean, on TX3, I know for a fact, talking from Billy Sue, they hold weekly meetups for practice, and they race with each other, they push each other. Who is he racing with? Because he's on a team by himself.
Yeah, I mean, is it really a team? If you're on your own, that's the question.
And who do they pick up to, assist him and help him out? Because originally with Veloce, you guys pulled in Force One with yourself, so you guys could still race with each other. And you guys could still work together, which I thought was a great move, because it allowed you guys to still improve with each other, and it's not just one lone guy. His team, or him, is him, and that's it. That's all it is. He has nothing to benchmark himself.
Yeah, I think what we're going to see in the next, after this playoff is over, is we're going to see a lot of changes with teams, and teams are going to be forced to bring in other drivers, because at the moment, if the rumors are true and we're moving to a more team-based style next year, you're going to need to, Box is on his own, Lage is on his own, Zoom is on his own, so they would literally be booted out of the competition because they can't compete because they have no teammates. So there's going to have to be change, and that's what we're going to be looking at, and that's going to be what's very interesting, I think, over the next year.
Well, that's the other thing is...
Do you think those... Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. I was going to actually talk about something else.
I was going to ask, do you think those teams will just pick up other drivers, or do you think that they'll merge? Or what do you think would happen if that was going to be the way that Forza RC went?
I think the thing is that when you look at the driver market at the moment, it's actually really limited.
Yes, I was just going to say that. Yep.
Who would they bring in? Because there's not many people.
The top guys are the top privateers are Brain Damage, Europa, and Rich 92 F1. And why would you want to pull one of those guys in who's not even in the top 24 for London? If you're an esports team like that, none of them made it. So why would you pull any of those guys in? So if they're going to do anything, they're going to have to basically what's the word that people don't like?
Poach them?
Yes, poach. Thank you. They're going to have to poach them from other teams.
Yeah.
So
we could see a very big shuffle around of team members very shortly, or by the mid next year.
I think at the moment, though, I know it's very biased, but Veloce is looking like the strongest team. So although maybe we're not winning the FRC, I think as a team we're significantly ahead of G2, Noble, because we have the triple driver lineup that you need for next year, and that's what Veloce were looking at. They were looking at next year, not right now, because we have to focus on the long run, the long game.
Right. And
well, you certainly picked up 3 really good drivers. Yeah.
And the other thing is, basically, Jason and I had talks with this, and we'd heard a couple of months ago, we'd heard stuff about team invite next year, and we didn't say anything because we didn't know if it was true. We didn't want to, let anything out that was going to be that was wrong information. We didn't by any means want to tell people that, oh, this is what it's going to be, when it wasn't this. But now we actually, that people are finding out. It's all speculation right now about next year. But what we do know is that we are almost certain it is team invite. Now how they set the rules for how they select the teams is very weird. Like, we don't know how they're going to do it. Are they going to take the top 10 teams from, their standings from this year, and from Series 2 and say the finals, from the team standings? Are they going to take those top 10 and invite them? I don't know. And then what do you do with teams, like you said, like G2 and Noble with one driver on them? Do they get invites? And then what if a new team comes in? Say McLaren has an esports team. Do they get an invite and say they pick up like really fast drivers like Europa and Verse 92 and Brain Damage? It's a whole mixed bundle of things that is all speculation right now that we don't know.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the problem. We're literally going into a black hole of the unknown, and we're just going to try and, all the other teams are going to have to try and wriggle their way around, try and work out what's best. So,
what do you think is going to be best? Like, for you personally, what would be best for you? For it to head to a team direction?
Yeah. I mean, I love team racing. In the pre-season, me and Force One won it with F4H alongside Venom. So we have the experience. I think I personally prefer the idea of... I'd love it if we weren't all in the same car and there was strategy. I think that whereas like Lage, Lightning, and those people are really quick on the track, I think, when you think about strategy and stuff like that, then there's more dimensions to beat them, and it's more possible to win a race in different ways. So
yeah, more variables means there's more ways to win. There's more ways to just vary your strategies.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's very exciting. Excuse me. It's very exciting when that comes into play.
Yeah.
I think they could
benefit. Yeah, go on.
I was going to say, I think they could benefit from doing it F1 style next year. So they have like the team invite style, like they did in the preseason invitational, but I think they should introduce the individualism of having the driver standings and having the team standings. Because if it's just team invite, like say it's just team standings, then I said this a couple months ago, I was like, they should allow tuning for the cars. Because then, it gets everyone on that team involved. So say you have a team like TX3. Okay, they have painters and tuners on the team, but they're not necessarily going to, the LAN event. Why wouldn't you let the tuner tune the cars because he's really good at it? It lets everyone be involved. Yeah,
there's a lot more that's possible. That's the thing.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We'll have to see, I guess, and just see where it goes. But it'll be exciting nonetheless.
Yeah, I hope they say what the format is sooner rather than later, because it'll allow for teams to then adjust accordingly, and guys like Europa and Rich 92 F1 will know what to do.
Yeah,
and not be scrambled for time. But
sure.
We'll see. Yeah.
As far as the racing goes, for just quickly, Kicker. As far as the racing goes for Forza RC, would you prefer, or do you know if the other Forza RC drivers would prefer to have a more regular season style racing format, where you guys get given, I don't know, like a spec car, like a Z4 Cup Series or a Porsche Cup Series or something like that? Would you prefer that style of racing over different cars, different tracks?
Well,
every race?
I mean, it kind of, people are good in different things. Like, for example, if you get Zach Venom, F4H Venom, if you put him in a prototype, he is nuts. He's so quick. But then if you put him in a slower car, he's not quite as quick. Same with me. If I'm in a front-wheel drive car, then I like to think that I'm not too bad. But then put me in a rear-wheel drive, power-hungry, whatever the hell I'm driving car, I'm not so good. So people have their strengths and weaknesses. I think that if you did a spec series, then it would favor some people for no reason, just because they got lucky and the car suits them. But I think, speaking of the format, I think you just got to try and make it less intensive. I think that's the only thing that needs to change.
So it's like, I did notice that there was a lot of car track combinations to memorize.
Yeah.
Would you say like something like, I don't know, one car, one track for that round, or one car, a few different tracks for that round?
I mean, personally, I like the variation.
But if it's changing every round, or like not so much every race, so that you're just getting, you're getting like 7 or 8 combinations to remember, more like just 3 or 4.
But equally, I'd get nervous that the combo that we get for that round would just be horrendous, like one that I like to get over quickly. So,
but wouldn't that give you more chance to like improve on that one particular thing if you could just put all your focus into the one track
yeah,
combination?
but some things just
sure.
drive just dumb.
Yeah.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? Like some cars.
What if they allow tuning? Would that make more sense than if you would allow tuning
because
and then have it?
Then you get people who are insane at tuning
tunes.
doing really well, and I can't have that. So.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean,
I think
it's only part of racing. Like real racing has engineers. Like what?
Well, no, I think
yeah,
the
but
real
this
format.
So.
I think the format that they have now is fine. The thing is, if they did it team intensive, I think that then you could allow, like, if it were a separate competition, is what I'm saying. Then you could allow tuning, is what I mean.
Yeah,
so
if we had a tuner, like, because I can't tune, I'll be totally blunt there. I don't know what I'm doing. If you give me a tuning setup, I've no idea. But if bring tuners into teams and whatever, that'd be great. So I wouldn't be against that, as long as I don't have to do the tuning.
Yeah.
Really good tuner on the team as well. Otherwise, I'm against it.
I mean, that's a cool potential for tuners to be more of a thing for the RC.
Yeah, for sure.
So one of the things that I thought about a couple months ago actually was. And Jason and I have different stances on this. And Jason, you can explain yours when I'm done explaining mine. So what would you think of, and you fall into this category, what would you think of a Young Gun series, like a Forza RC Young Gun series where they do drivers who are under 21? It allows them to kind of see the up-and-coming talent without having the dominance of those guys who have had so much experience, or even like guys that are just like, under, 20 or 19 or something like that. I think that would be quite a unique situation. And quite a cool series.
I mean, it would be cool, but you have to think, right? Like, with respect, there aren't that many people under the age of 20 that do it. There's like, you get myself, you get Dan, you get Wesley, and then I can't really think of many others. And I just don't think there are enough people to populate a competitive league. And I also, I feel like as well in esports, the age is too young. Like the age range is too young. In that a player will typically die out when they're about in their late 20s. That's when you peak, or you peak in your early 20s and you'll just dip after that. And that's what's happening to Lage, I feel. And I just don't think that a Young Gun series in this genre of esport would work, to be honest, because there just aren't enough people. But it's a great idea. If there were loads of people, it would be great.
Yeah.
That's my opinion anyway.
I know, Jason, you said that you should, if you wanted to do something like that, you should base it off of experience, not age.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do think that. I mean, that's how they do it in real life, is that, it's got nothing to do with how old you are. You always hear about some kid that's like 13, 14 years old, racing NASCAR at like the semi-professional level.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, man, do it. And that's just experience. Like, he's had just as much experience as the guy who's, 28 next to him in the grid. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
he's probably racing for about the same amount of time.
I mean, on that note, I'm known as like a young guy, being 18, but I've been playing Forza competitively for 4 years. I've been playing racing games for about 12 years, like literally. So, yeah, I completely agree with what you just said. It's not just
that's a really good reason why you're better than us.
Yeah, because we've only been playing competitively for a little over a year. So
yeah.
But and funny thing is, you made a video as well on how you got fast at Forza as well when you were on F4H, right? And there's a link in the description if you guys want to go watch it. I love that. No, there's a link in the description if you guys want to go check it out. It's like a 10-minute video as well. But yeah, do you want to explain on how you came to the scene and everything like that?
Yeah. So I mean, to be honest, I'm doing this because I wanted to be doing real motorsport, but I didn't have the money. So one of my best mates, Angus Fender, you might see him in the community. I know that many of you know who he is. He drives like Genettas around the UK. I got really jealous. I wanted to beat him, but I couldn't. So he showed me Forza like in 2013 or so. I kind of played it for fun, and then I played it for fun for a bit. Then I also played F1, and I entered my first league race event on F1 2014, like 4 years ago. And then I entered that. I just raced and just enjoyed it. And then you just get better and better the more you do it. And then I kept on doing it until I got invited to Le Mans last year, or however long ago it was. That's the very, very basic story, but you can see more in the video if you watch that. Yeah. So
if you guys want to see the video, it is in the description. It's like 10 minutes. It's pretty cool how he comes to the scene and how he gets better at the game. And I know I think I've watched it a couple of times as well.
I love an origin story.
Me too.
It's always good. Yeah. Oh, there you go. How about that?
But yeah, that's awesome.
Cool.
So one of the
updates.
things is
updates.
Yeah, we've got an October update that came out a couple weeks ago. We didn't get a chance to talk about it last week because of the we had
just
the
way
RC
we had
show.
The show set up. We had and we just had 3 people. So we're gonna touch on it this week instead.
Yeah,
that's right.
So what it is it's mainly I think it was mainly a drag update or a drift update, one of the two. Oh no, yeah, it was mainly a drift update because of the Formula Drift cars.
It was.
What they did talk about was the insertion of the race shop and how it will be coming in either next month or the month after. And that's how they're removing prize crates. So you will be able to buy like driver gear.
Well, you have driver gear that you never got to have before. It makes sense. Like, I don't want to waste time getting prize crates with my credits. Like, this doesn't make sense.
Yeah. But what they did talk about was they are working on physics updates, and there's a couple different ones that they're working on.
I'm looking forward to this stuff.
But there's one in particular that I want to touch on. I have a video from a clip that they touched on, and there's a couple of different things that we want to go over as well. So watch this clip, guys, and then we're going to talk about it afterwards.
So then we look at the third aspect, the not being very approachable, or because it isn't. It isn't. I race real cars, and I can tell you for a fact, turn 1, not very approachable in a real car either. Right. Somebody runs into the back, you're not going to have a good time. Happens all the time in real racing. It's just the same in our game. So what we've done, and we have a clip of this one as well.
Yeah, we can show this.
So it's this first clip here. This is what a collision looks like right now. The car were to hit you in the quarter panel at speed, and this is totally what you get in turn 1. This that you just saw, that's a collision assist. And what we've done is we've reduced the amount of torque in yaw, pitch, and roll that your car receives from an impact. And this happens to both the impacting car and the impacted car. Now this is we're working with it right now. It's a per player assist, but if I have it on and you don't, and I run into you, we both get it. Right. What that means is that I can't go about griefing, pitting people because it doesn't affect my car or anything like that. It's stellar in multiplayer scenarios. It's amazing for drifters.
So I just want to be clear that this is an assist that you guys are working on that players will be able to turn on or off depending on how they want to play.
You turn it on, you can turn it off. You can lock it in the lobby so that you can turn it off completely so that nobody has it.
Okay, so you guys saw the video. Initial reactions, at least from me, is it's an assist. So what the thing about that is they're obviously not going to allow it in RC, but in terms of like Tora and ORL and Delta, will that be, if that assist is not forced off and people can run it, will it be faster? How will it affect the cars, the cars handling and stuff like that? That's my concern.
Well, I don't think they said it was going to affect the car's handling. I mean, it's only going to affect the contact physics, correct? So I can only imagine it affecting contact physics. I mean, I don't think you should be using a contact assist in a league race. If it's competitive racing and it's supposed to simulate a real situation, there's no contact assists in real situations.
That's true. But is it more realistic?
But
like they said in the video, it's more realistic. for contact. So will that make it more realistic?
Are they
That's
fixing
the
the
thing.
well? Is that the assist being more realistic, or is the physics being upgraded to be more realistic? If it's the physics upgraded to be more realistic,
Then we don't
you
have a
probably see a bit
choice.
closer racing. Well, yeah.
Yeah, because
So,
it'll
like,
be in the game
you know,
physics.
Yeah, if it was the core game physics that they're changing, maybe they're just trialing it as an assist. I don't know, but if the contact physics were a bit more forgiving, because currently when cars make contact, they get kind of speared off, even if it's really really light.
Yeah,
I'm
like,
sure racers has had that happen to them heaps of times.
Yeah. I was gonna say
But
that one race. There's a. I always talk about this with Jason. When we did Hot Hatch, dude, it's literally on screen. My car flowed over the curb, and I barely touched you, and your car just got so unsettled, and then you sim twitched out and collected like 3 of us, and I was like, oh, that's all my fault. But it was the slightest tap, and with that assist, that's not gonna happen. Will there be a sim twitch with this as well? That's the other thing. Is sim twitch gonna exist with this assist?
I imagine the sim twitch would be. I think that's like just as long as your car doesn't get loose. I mean, it just really depends. I mean, what do you reckon, Races?
Yeah, I was gonna say, what do you think?
Well, I just think that as an assist, I think it's just there really for public racing, and I don't think it should be put into league racing at all.
No, I agree.
Because why would you? You know,
Yeah.
There's nothing really wrong about the contact. You shouldn't be making contact anyway. If you are, then there has to be consequence.
Yeah.
So it's just that in a public, when you get someone flying at your inside, you want to minimize the damage, and I think that's why it's there.
Yeah.
Alan just said a good point. He said the actual collisions themselves overall are being reworked outside of the assist. So is the assist separate from the collisions themselves?
Yes. That's what he just said. Yeah,
Okay.
That's basically what he said. Because I did see another video on the collisions, and he was saying just because of the net code error, basically, because you're on 2 different levels of ping, like even 2 milliseconds worth of ping or something like that was enough to cause like a very snooker ball effect when they made contact.
Oh yeah, where they were like here, and then they were here instantly. Yeah.
And I mean, it is more realistic to have small contact be not as unsettling, because it's when you're racing in league races, not everybody races as fair. So when they just touch you a little bit and poke you around, you lose way too much speed and sometimes just crash or spin out because the contact's very sudden and then really shocks the car instead of just sort of leaning into you. But that's just my thoughts on it.
Yeah, is that will it make you essentially the racing? Will you be faster with it? That's the question. I don't know
about faster. I just think cleaner. Like the racing's just going to be closer because you're going to be able to like push somebody that much further without risking them being punted off the track.
Like me, I don't mind a little bumping and grinding and stuff like that. That's my style.
Yeah, everybody knows you don't mind a little bump and grind.
Yeah, I'm an American. Like I watch NASCAR, dude. Like, come on. I mean, I grew up with the bump and run. Like,
yeah,
Yeah. But
and like that's part of racing more or less. But this is just going to make it less harsh. Like, you're not just going to get spun out by some contact with somebody else. It's just sort of going to muscle your car over a little bit, and that's probably going to be okay.
Yeah, Racers, you've done community racing in the past, and I'm sure you'll do a little bit more in the future as well. What do you think? How do you think it's going to affect if they allow the assist to, be worked in? How do you think it'll affect league racing?
If it's implemented, yeah. Well, I think it will make it easier for a race to happen without someone dying, basically.
Yeah.
But with that being said, I don't think that I still stand by the fact that shouldn't be the case. So neither does that person. Rather enthusiastic about that, but no.
It's okay to be excited.
Yeah, I know that the new physics are exciting, but
yeah.
But yeah, so in the league racing, I still don't.
No, I agree. I don't think it should be a thing either. I'm fully with you with this on that one.
Sweet, cool. Well, that's all the topics we had scheduled for today. So are you ready to do this hot lap challenge, Racers?
Oh boy.
Are you excited?
I am.
Everybody's excited.
Look.
We know there's huge beef between you and Force 1 right now.
Yeah, what do I have to beat? Let me see.
You have to beat Force 1.
Yeah.
Surprise.
You said you didn't want to know the time, though. You said you didn't want to know the time.
Oh, yeah, I don't want to look at the time.
Okay, so we're not going to let you know the time. But as everybody can see, Force 1 right there, number 1, numero uno,
You
the
got
current champion.
The current
Racerz saying he
champions.
got lucky. Let's see if Racerz can unseat that somehow, some way.
So
What were you saying before Racerz with, I believe?
I can't really remember, but I'm going to make up something that I want to say now, and that's that I believe that Force 1 shouldn't be in
Force One
first
shouldn't
place. And I'm about to change that.
Oh boy, I think we lost Jason. I think his phone died. That's not good.
Oh,
no.
the tension was so strong.
My phone ran out of battery. That happened with Skyline as well, but we had him on. I'm trying to pull up the Hot Lap Challenge at the moment, so you have to give me 1 second here. Oh wait, no, I think it is. Oh, that's not it. Shoot. Come on. On my thing. Here, I'll let you at least get into your position here. You guys should be able to hear the sound, at least.
Alright.
So he's gonna at least get onto his position. Let's see. Oh, there we go. I got it up. Good. Alrighty. Oops, but it's off a little bit. Let's enlarge it. You guys can see me editing this live because I had to use the Skype stuff. There we go. All good now. Alright, can you still hear me, Racers?
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. So, in the live chat, guys, what do you think his time's going to be? You guys think he'll beat Force 1? You guys think he'll be last and be slower than Danny from Legion? So, see, last time a couple of guys got it right on the nose with Roadrunner's time, which was awesome to see. I think this is position.
Alright, so I have to line up with the arrow.
Yep.
Here.
So, yep, on the side over there. Yep, perfect. Alright.
Alright.
So when you're ready, go ahead and launch it. There's some kind of unique technique to launch this car, and I don't know what it is, so...
Okay, I'll just do it for Dale. Yeah.
Alright, that's a good launch. Wow. Really tight to the wall as well. He's got a mirror in his face. It looks really smooth. Really good through there. Wow. This lap looks really good so far. Alan Walsh is pulling for you to beat Force 1. The focus is real right now. Really smooth. A little bit of a slide. Wow, this looks really good. Oh, snap. This looks like a really good lap time.
Oh, it's a,
Don't even
it's a
sit.
102.1.
102. Oh, 102.1. Okay. Alright.
Yeah,
That looks
yeah.
really good. I mean,
For a first attempt, not too bad.
not too bad as he hits the tire wall. Where are you going?
Do I
No,
have to
keep going around. Keep going around. Keep going around.
I was just celebrating.
That's awesome. He went backwards on the track. His side, he wanted to redo the first turn on the second side lap.
Yeah. So it's all about just having a cool down lap afterwards. It's where you
Yeah.
can't overdo it.
Yeah,
Just
exactly.
relax.
So 102.1, I will tell you that puts you third right now.
Alright.
You did beat Davey Skills and Box and Roadrunner and Mellish and Billy Sue and McQueen and Commando.
Alright.
So those are some big names that you've beaten already, but you got 2 more big ones that you gotta beat. You gotta shave off a little bit of time.
Alright.
So same spot here. I'm gonna go on hood view for this lap so people can see what it's kind of like.
Alright.
Alright, man, when you're ready to launch it. Matt Gaming thinks that you will beat Force One, so get a couple fans. Wow, so close to the inside wall. And are you using sim steering or normal steering?
That's normal, actually.
Okay, normal,
Yeah.
alright. Focus is
Alright,
real.
that one wasn't so good. I got 102.6.
102.6. So how do you like the car though?
Yeah, it's very tricky.
So he's got one more attempt at it to try to do it. Remember, he's got no assist, no line. He's got a mirror in his face that blocks every apex of the turn.
It's horrendous. The mirror's just in the way. If this is real, I'd just snap it off. Throw it away.
Throw it away. Alright, so he's got one more shot. Right now sitting at a 102.1 is your best lap. You shave off a couple more tenths. I won't say how many, but a couple more.
Yeah.
Alright, one more attempt. Is he gonna
Alright,
do
let's
it?
see.
Is he gonna
Can
do
I
it?
beat my team? Or will I be kicked off F4H? I mean, sorry, Veloce.
Oh wow! Throwback to both to F4H. Wow.
Whoops. Hashtag ad. Alright. Alright,
Hashtag
this is it.
F4H. Alright, when you're ready. I'll remain quiet on this lap for you. Coming to the line, that looks pretty good.
Yeah, it was good, but not good enough.
Oh,
102.5.
102.5, okay. Couldn't break into the
Yeah.
101s. So 102 point... Oh, what was it? 102.1 was your
It
best
was in
time.
the first sector. I lost half a second.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Oh,
I took
wow.
it really well on the first lap. Couldn't quite match it.
Yeah, Force 1 ran a 101.4.
Did he?
Yeah.
Jeez.
And Race Boy ran a 101.6. So.
Yeah, amazing. Told you got lucky though.
He's just finishing up his last lap now.
Do you want me to finish it, or shall I just come back into the...
You could just come back in, yeah. I've got the lap time.
When you are to
Yeah.
appear.
To make an appearance, yes. Let's see here. Oh, you're not even showing up on my screen. Oh well, it's alright. It's no big deal. But that was good, man. I mean, you finished third.
It's alright.
Third out of everyone that's come on the show. I mean, there's some big names on this.
Actually, yeah, but I came here to win, not to come third.
Look here, we've got Force 1, Race Boy, then you'll be third there with a .1, and Roadrunner, Mellish, Billy C, Skyline, Box, Super GT, Commando,
It's a bunch of noobs, really. I mean, no, who am I kidding? Yeah, it's tough competition.
Yeah, but yeah, so Force 1's still in the lead, unfortunately for Racers, but hopefully you'll get him in London. Hopefully you'll get him in London. You're in the same lobby as him, so you might be able to get up there and challenge him in the semifinals.
Yeah, who knows? I'm trying to... my focus is just on getting to the finals. Like, I'm in such a hard position in reality to make it, but if I can, then that'll be a success.
Well, good luck. We'll be keeping an eye on you. See if you can sneak into the finals there. Work your way up through the field. So got some tough guys. You got some tough guys in front of you though. So definitely be a challenge. Yeah, for sure. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thanks, Racers, again for coming on the show. We appreciate it, man. Cool. All right, guys. That's gonna do it for today. Appreciate you guys all tuning in. Next week we're off from the show. We'll be watching the London finals, watching Racers battle out everybody else. So we'll come back in 2 weeks with an undisclosed guest, and we'll see you then. So thanks for tuning in.